This small detail I'm going to show you absolutely destroys high-level guards, and almost no one knows it. And in fact, it often catches your opponent so off guard when you hit it that it can be a bit dangerous. So as you guys learn the technique, try to be careful when practicing it on your partners. The whole system is built around one of the most annoying grips in jiu-jitsu, which is the collar grip. Not only because the collar grip can really break your posture and allow your opponent to set up attacks, but maybe even more annoying is when your opponent stiff arms you with the collar. It's hard to get rid of the grip and you can't get close to your opponent when he's punching you in the neck. Most people learn to deal with this by breaking grips, and that can definitely be useful, but often the problem with breaking grips is that you end up giving space and allowing your opponent to escape and create distance. So instead, I'm going to show you this really powerful principle I refer to as drop passing as an alternative to breaking grips that makes it much easier to surprise and pass your opponent's guard. So first, we're going to focus on understanding some core principles for frames and controlling, and then I'm going to show how you can use this to pass the guard in 3 different ways.
So the core foundation of any pin is keeping both of my opponent's shoulder blades to the mat. If his shoulder blade can come up off the mat, he can turn into me and fight out. So the main way I keep him pinned is using chest pressure. My hand positioning can change. I can have a cross face, I can go over, I can go to north-south, but I always want to keep his shoulder blades pinned, and I use my chest pressure to do that. So from here, as an example, if I just drop my chest weight, I pull my shoulder blades back, and here he starts to turn into me, I slide my body weight this way and use my chest to keep that shoulder blade pinned. If he turns back the other way, I back my weight up and I keep him pinned using the chest pressure. Of course, what he's gonna start doing is using a frame here to create space. And if he gets a good frame, and now I can't use that same chest pressure because he can kind of push me off with the elbow in the neck here. So what I like to do here is early on, if I can identify this is slightly bent, once I get in really tight here, he can no longer re-extend, even if he pushes really hard, because this arm is really weak when it's bent. When it's here, it can be very strong. But here, it's like a tricep extension. Regardless of how strong the guy is, it's super hard to push out of that, right? In fact, if they don't have the mobility in their elbow, it can be very dangerous on their elbow when you put pressure here. So anytime I'm in side control, and I'll show how I use this in passing in a little bit later, is when I identify a spot that I can lock down, I'm always gonna lock this in. In fact, this is almost better than no frame because his arm is stuck. If he has no frame, when I'm here tight, he can still use this to do stuff. When he's here, he has nothing, right? From here, I keep the pressure tight. I can even use this to progress up the mount as the arm's trapped and do different attacks.
Now that you understand the basic concepts of framing, let's look at how we can use this principle to catch our opponent off guard and pass them. The main idea to understand is that if someone is stiff arming, it's almost impossible to get close to them and pass the guard. However, whenever they pull to create an off balance or to break your posture, their arm is bent. And at the moment of a pull, there's actually no push. And if you understand this, you can capitalize and fast close the distance on a frame, locking them in to set up different passing positions. The first example we're gonna look at is in a pass often referred to as a long step pass.
So we can get to this a lot of different ways, but generally when I'm approaching the guard, I'm gonna look to trap his inside leg in between my legs. I can do this if he's centered, I can do it if he's on his side a little bit. I just wanna trap this in between my legs. So I control the foot or the pant leg, and I trap this guy in. Once I get here, I wanna kind of sit on this leg. I like to trap it in between my calf and my hamstring, and my top arm here is gonna control his pant leg. I can grab at the knee on the outside here, or I can just grab here. Any grip like this. From here, my left hand is gonna grab the lapel. I like this position because it's kind of a nice perch that I can kind of stall and decide what I want to do in, because he can't move this leg out because I'm literally sitting on it. One of the main attacks I'll try here is to invert with a reverse De La Riva and go all the way through to try to take my back. But that's why I like this top grip, because when I have this top grip here, I can push this backwards and it makes it really hard to invert because it keeps his hip pinned. As well as this left hand on the lapel here makes it hard so that as he tries to invert, I can kind of stiff arm and block, right? So it's a nice perch to just kind of stall, rest, and think about what you want to do. One of the main things people will do is they grab this sleeve and they try to break the grip, but here he's always exposing a club to get in close, and now I can come through and he has no frame. The most common problem is this collar grip again, right? So he's gonna have the collar grip here, and now here, while I'm like this, as long as he's punching my neck, I can't really get close, keep pushing it. I can't really get close to him. So I just control here, I push this leg back, and as I push this leg back, he's kind of, it's gonna eat on his hip, right? Because it's hard to keep that knee tight as I push this. And from here, a lot of times they get frustrated and they don't want to let go to grab the sleeve. So they'll pull to try to off balance you. The moment he pulls, I'm going to lunge in and catch the frames. You can go that side. I'm going to lunge in and catch the frames. And notice how I'm not just dropping for the pass. I'm actually chasing the arm so that I land in. Because now when he starts pushing, it's too late. I'm already in. And then I can pass here and keep this. And I'm going to keep this all the way through to even progress up to mount at some point maybe, right? One extra thing I might do here is sometimes while I'm here freezing the position, I'll even pull my head back a little because it tends to make him want to keep me closer. And as I feel that pull, and I lunge in right there and go. These passes are so powerful because it takes a position that your opponent feels very comfortable with a stiff arm, and that small little pull completely opens up the opportunity to crash in and get the pass.
The second sequence I'm going to show is one of my personal favorites, but real quick before I go into it, I would like you guys to let me know if you like this format of the video, mixing the on-mat explanations with the sparring narrations, or if you prefer just the sparring narrations. So the next situation we're going to look at is another situation where we trap our opponent's leg, but this time they're turned on their side. This is often referred to as an HQ position or De La Riva guard with a leg trapped. From here, there's a lot of different threats we can do with knee cuts, folding passes, and drop passes.
Okay, so in this situation, we're going to be trapping our opponent's leg again. So now maybe he's centered. I'm just going to control one foot. I step in and trap it. So there's two ways he can turn here. If he turns this way, we go back to the first one where we're more in reverse De La Riva and I'm going for the long step pass. But in this situation, when we go to trap, he's actually going to turn more to this side. And when he's on this side, it's going to function a little bit different. Often people here will grab your ankle, or perhaps I'm already in De La Riva guard with the guy having my ankle or pant, and I just kill this leg and I trap it. Either way, I come to this position, often referred to as HQ. When I have the leg trapped here, the first thing I'm going to look for, if he doesn't have a grip on my collar, I can open this knee, and all I want to do is get my shoulder to hit his chest. So I'll push this leg down. Sometimes I like to push this leg into his own arm because it becomes really hard on his grip, and I just shoot my shoulder. As long as I connect the shoulder to the chest, it's going to have a very strong ability to finish through. But of course, your opponent's going to often grab the collar. It's one of the main defenses they have. So when he's here and he's on the collar, if he's stiff arming, the first thing I threaten, again, I push this leg down here. I'm going to cup this knee. I'm going to step to the side and open this knee up, and I want to start pressing it all the way through here. So as I push this knee all the way through here, like this, if he doesn't respond, a lot of times you can stuff this all the way through and I can sit down, and now I have a half guard position. From here, I can slowly progress in. If he continues to stiff arm my neck here, I can slowly work my way up. I have a lot of options here. But what often happens is as I go and grab this knee and I start snapping it open, he keeps his leg really tight, and he can maybe endure this for a little bit, but eventually it's going to give out. But usually at this point, they will start to panic and they pull on the collar to off balance you. The moment he does that collar pull, now when I do the cut, I'm going to lunge my body weight into the arm, because with the momentum and his arm bent, it's very easy to get close. Now when I land here, it can be very shocking on the elbow. Now, even if he tries to push me off here on the cut, it's too late. I have this trap. Sometimes I can even keep it and use it like I showed before to try to progress to mount, but at minimum, I can keep the grip to finish here. So again, we're here like this. I trap this guy, I start opening there, and you see he pulls and I can shoot in. If I do it when he's still stiff arming, so keep stiff arming, then I'll go here, but you see he gets that push, I can't do it. Versus when I'm here and he pulls, I go straight in and get a nice pass there. So the other situation here will be, now he has the collar, but he's gonna keep this knee really shielded to this side. So now it's hard to pull the knee open. So often here, I'll go over top and grab the lapel with my left hand. In my right hand, I'm gonna control this leg and just try to get balance on it, right? If I'm too far over here, I can get bumped this way and I have to post my hand. So what I do is I control this lapel and I kind of drop my body weight, you can go that side, and I get my left knee towards the floor like this, and I have balance both from this stiff arming and from my right hand on the leg here. So now I have a lot of balance. If he stays here and he doesn't move, a lot of times I can use this elbow to slowly buckle the arm. So I'm forcing the bend this time. If he stays with his shin forcing this side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop my left arm down the back, grab the lapel here, you can come up here, with my right hand, and I can shin slide out this way. And now I get what's referred to as a folding pass. From here, as soon as I get out here, he's almost always gonna bring this arm up and I'm gonna try to catch it. If I get this arm, he can no longer come up on his elbow. If I stay here and he's really explosive and he comes up on the elbow, now it's very hard to finish, right? But if I catch this, he can't do that. Now there's a lot of different finishes. I won't go too in depth, maybe I'll do another video at some point. but I can use my head to drive in here. A lot of times I'll try to weave this knee in between his legs, and from here I can work my knee up and progress directly up to a mount. But of course, when you go for this, often people will start to sense it. So I'm here like this, and now as I do this pressure, he opens his knee back up. But see, I have his arm bent here. Again, as long as that arm is slightly bent, now with the knee open back, I'm just gonna shoot my chest weight into the arm and shoot the underhook here, and I go right back into this cut with really nice timing there. So you have to feel out where the stiff arm is and where the bend is. When you understand where the bend is, that collar grip not only is not a nuisance, but it actually becomes your ally because your opponent is almost pulling you into the pass into a position where they'll have a trapped frame.
And the last situation we're going to look at, in my opinion, is the most surprising one. And I think versus very high level guards, it's the one that catches people off guard the most because it's a bit complicated to understand. But when you really master it, you can pass world-class guards, catching them completely off guard.
So the last situation we're going to look at will be when we don't trap our opponent's leg. So in this case, maybe his guard's open kind of like this. So I'm going to kind of pummel in. I like to use my forearms as I enter. I get nice outside grips and get my elbows in because it's hard for him to loop his legs over. So I kind of step in the center. I use my leg like a pipe in the spokes of a wheel to prevent his legs from spinning. I refer to this as like a split passing system. So I step in here, now I have the legs kind of controlled, and here he'll often grab the collar. So what I'm gonna do, you can go this side, is there's two ways to create this. One is early on, if I don't have a good grip, I'll just use this ankle and I push it out, and I'm gonna push it down towards my shin. Once I get it towards my shin, I can switch my hand up and grab with my hand pointed backwards because I get a lot of pressure here. From here, keep your knee really tight to you. It's very hard to get that leg back tight. So I'm creating this huge split on his hips, and it's gonna overextend this leg. And if we just sit here indefinitely, it's gonna exhaust his hip really hard. And if he just eventually lets me push it to the floor, keep stiff arming, yeah. Then I'll just push it through, and again, I can step over and start to sit down and force like a half guard situation. But again, really commonly people here will panic. So I have this grip, and as I'm doing this, he's gonna pull to try to off balance me, and I use that timing to drop directly into the frame. Okay, again, it's not just dropping. If I dropped and went here, you see it's like I'm close, but you see his arm's not close, so you can re-stiff arm, right? You wanna chase the frame. When I chase the frame, that's what buckles it, right? So now I can catch here, switch my hips and go through. Another way to set up that leg position, sometimes I'll do this before he has the collar, keep this knee tight, is sometimes I'll do like a normal grip and I'll kind of push his leg a little. And if I feel any reaction from this at all, then I overextend it back the other way, right? If he's just here and I start pulling, keep your knee really tight, I can't get it overextended, right? So I just do that little push, maybe he thinks a different pass is coming, boom, and then I overextend it. Now, when he tries to bring it back up, he can't. So you can grab the collar. See, so now we're here splitting, drop. Again, keep the chest weight over the arm and work my way through.
And remember guys, if you really like this content, be sure to like and leave a comment letting me know what you would like to see in future videos. Not only does it help promote the channel, but it also gives me good ideas for what to make in future videos. Thanks a lot.